Hey everybody, welcome back to the lovely place in the great lovely state of Tennessee. And I'm up at the property today. A lot of things have been going on here. I wanted to just give you a little bit of an update on what's happening and what's to come. So as you can see, it is a beautiful time of the year. It's actually going to go from last week was in the 60s to the end of this week we're going to be up in the 90s. Right now it's cloudy, the sun's up there, you can see it, but it's behind those clouds and it's nice and comfortable, low humidity, but that's not going to last very long, and we're going to have a lot of if you've been to the state of Tennessee or in the southeast, you know what I'm talking about. You walk outside and you get wet. It just starts coming out of you. So it's going to be nice and interesting as we get to work out here on the farm as things continue to get hotter and hotter. But I was able to come out here yesterday and get a lot of things done. I want to show you some stuff. As you know, as I'm walking around here, I'm just going to remind, if you guys have not been to the channel before, I bought this property just about, let's see, 6 months ago. And I don't currently live here. I'm just put up a nice pole barn. In the front of the pole barn, gonna create a little tiny house, a little space that we can call our camping spot. And if crap hits the fan, I'll have a place to come. And to be honest with you guys, that's why I purchased this property. I wanted to have a place that I could create some sort of self-sustainability. I wanted to have a place I could shoot my guns anytime I wanted to. I could sight them in. That I could grow some crops if I wanted to, have some livestock. And to be honest with you, I did not know what I was getting into. The expense of doing this is quite insane. So right after I made an offer on the property, and there's a total of 58 acres here, and originally it wasn't 58 acres, I've added to it since then. I realized that I need some equipment. And so I started watching videos and I started learning from you guys out there. And as I researched, and I really researched thoroughly, I made some decisions on what I wanted to purchase. So I bought a lot of stuff, stuff that's needed, some stuff that I could have maybe avoided spending thousands of dollars and done things a little differently. And I'm going to talk to you about that throughout this series, and hopefully save you guys a lot of money. Because there's options that I did not realize that are available to you when you have this kind of land that would prevent you from needing and purchasing all of the equipment that I've purchased. However, almost everything I've got is needed, and unless I make some different decisions, everything I've got is needed. But there are options, so we'll talk more about that. But let me walk you in and show you my tractor. So I've got a 75C Case IH tractor that is just awesome. I chose that tractor due to the fact that it's for what you get and what it does. In my opinion, it was the best value. Now, it was top of the line as far as price is concerned, or it is. Still got the plastic on the seat. I've probably put about 6 hours on it. Maybe, no, I've put more than that. I cut my entire 18 to 20 acres out there with my 15-foot batwing Rhino. And that was about a total of 8 hours. And I've probably put about 5 more hours on it out there grading the driveway yesterday, which I will tell you about that and show you some of that. I used a rear blade that I just purchased for that to dig some deep ditches for the water runoff. And so total, I do remember seeing the gauge yesterday. I think there's actually about 21 hours on this tractor. And at 50 hours, there's a service that I've got to perform. And this manual that came with the tractor is about 1.5 inches thick. And so it brings me back to my Air Force days with tech manuals. So I'm going to have to get used to all these service needs that it's going to require every so many hours. after I bought the tractor and the 15-foot Rhino, which you guys may have seen in a different video, or you can check out some of the links that may be attached to this video to see that, I quickly decided I needed a side-by-side. And I wanted a side-by-side that I could carry my kids and grandkids. So I purchased this 2011 500 EFI Polaris. So this is Big Red and this is Little Red. And on the back of this Polaris, I got lucky and I went online and I found someone wanting to give away some seats. They were giving away seats if you would come and remove them out of this little tour bus. She was converting this tour bus into like a pet grooming business bus. And so I drove about 40 minutes up the road and I pulled out 2 groups of 3 seats, and look how awesome this fits in the back of the Polaris. And I'm telling you, they are comfortable. So I've mounted them in there with really just a 1,000-pound strap that will holds them in perfectly. I put in those rings down there and mounted it to it, and it's solid. It doesn't go anywhere. And I've put folks in the back of this and the grandkids, and talk about comfortable and a smooth ride. Plus the suspension on this Polaris is phenomenal anyway. But when you're up there, you're setting high and you're getting to see everywhere we came from, and it's just awesome. Got seat belts, got everything. It's great. And this thing starts up immediately every time. So far, so good. It only had, I think, 99 hours on it, 500 miles, if I remember correctly. And then this tool. Oh my goodness, I freaking love this tool. This is the DR brush and field cutter. It's a Pro Max34. This is the biggest, the baddest brush cutter that DR has when it comes to the walk behind. This is a 22 horsepower Intech. I think it's a Briggs & Stratton. Yeah, here it is, Briggs & Stratton engine. And this thing's a hoss, and it's so smooth. Look at the deck on this thing. This is wide. I mean, 34 inches doesn't seem all that wide, but when you're cutting a trail through thick woods, this thing will really move. And yesterday, I've used it a couple times. Yesterday, I'll show you. I cut through a space that was just, it went through like butter, and created a nice path that the side-by-side will be able to go through. I'm going to cut trails all over this property with this device, and I'm going to cut trails down by my creek. I've got over 2,000 feet of creek line, and I'm going to cut paths into that area, and then I'm going to make little open areas that we can you know, put park benches or picnic tables, that sort of thing, and really enjoy the outdoors. So another tool that we just got, the Stihl chainsaw. Oh yeah, this is a commercial Stihl. It's the MS 261C. Now I'm going to tell you, I've cut about 4 cuts with this thing, and I had a problem. But the Tri-Green dealer that I bought it from, they've taken care of me so far. What happened was, when I picked it up, he said, we put the bar in the chain, we filled it with the lube and the fuel, you're ready to cut. So I cut 4 little cuts, and the chain flew off. And I mean, I cut some smooth baby cuts too. And the chain flew off, and it jacked up the chain, it burred it. And so they put a new chain on it for me. I assume the gentleman who put the chain on just didn't have it on right. I can show you the cuts I did, and they were minor cuts. And so I don't think I caused it, but who knows. But anyway, they were kind enough to give me a new chain, and they told me to test it out. And if for any reason it's not cutting right, or it throws it off again for no reason, they'll swap out the chainsaw. Stihl has a 7-day policy that most dealers do honor, where if you buy a product from them and if it's not an abuse to the product that causes any issue, if you want to swap it out, they will let you do that. So even though I notified them on the 7th day because I didn't have time to deal with the chainsaw initially, even though it was the 7th day and the manager wasn't there, he called me the morning of the 8th day, and he notified me that he would swap it out. So this is my largest pile that the dozer pushed down, and he actually put a couple of big trees in here, which I had asked that all the big trees be put separately, but it looks like the majority of these that are a little larger were split and would not make good lumber, and so that may be why he did that. But I'm gonna take the Stihl MS 261C, and it's supposed to be a CM, I think, and maybe it is, and I'm not really sure what that meant, but anyway, I'm gonna take it, do some cuts, and let you guys be the judge of how this thing performs. That was cool. I have to say, that went pretty well. That is something. Now this wood's been sitting down here for, check that out, like a little branch inside this. That's pretty cool. This wood's been sitting down here for, I don't know, I would guess about 5 months, 5.5 months maybe. And so it's dried out. I would imagine that would burn pretty well right now, the way it looks. So it's amazing how quickly that'll make an old fella tired doing that. Maybe it's the way I'm holding it. I'm letting it do the work, but the way I'm leaning, that may have something to do with it. I'm obviously protective over the legs, the feet, and the ankles, because I'm sure that with chainsaws, that's probably where the majority of injuries happen. And I don't want to be that guy. I was thinking earlier, I told you could learn from some of my mistakes. I don't want to be walking around holding my foot, showing that to you. I might get banned off of this channel or something. So anyway, it cuts pretty good. I think I got a little bit of cutting left to do. What do you think? Now, I'm obviously going to just try to get the big stuff out. I'll have to grab my tractor, tie it up, pull a log off at a time perhaps, or at least pull it out so that I'll be able to cut on it, because I don't want to just burn all of that as a big brush fire. There's too much good wood there that could either work for a campfire, or when we get a wood stove up there in the place, hopefully we can use it in that as well. So in a few minutes, I'm going to show you a little bit of my DR work. By the way, I mentioned to you that I call the tractor Big Red. I had a dog. It was an Irish setter. And when I was a kid, I was probably like 8 years old or so when my dad brought it home to me. He was a truck driver. And he got it from Michigan, from some relatives up there. Anyway, I had never, there's a whole like movie called Big Red about a red Irish setter. I'd never seen that, didn't know anything about it, but the obvious name for that dog was Big Red, even though he was a little puppy at the time. Well, he was my man as I was growing up and became a teenager. And so the tractor is named after Big Red. The little Polaris, well, it's Little Red, like I said. And my DR, I don't think I told you a minute ago. Guess what it's called? Dread. D-R-Red. Dread. Because I dread getting behind that thing and cutting. But nothing out of everything I've got so far, I don't know, that tractor was kind of cool pulling that 15-foot Rhino, man. That was a sense of accomplishment. But Dread, man, pushing that thing through this brush over here and cutting a trail way in there and just barreling through, that is a sense of accomplishment. Even though I kind of dread doing it because it's work, but it's not that bad. I do love what it does. So you're going to see that soon. All right, you know, I mentioned to you that the chain came off after 4 cuts when I first got this chainsaw. You just saw me, now that they've given me a new chain and put it on here, you saw me make about, I don't know, 6 or so additional cuts. Chain's fine right now, but I wanted to check the tension to make sure that it's still looking good. They did tell me that when you get a brand new chain or chainsaw, that this thing can make adjustments, and you might want to check it frequently in the beginning. So you can see there, that's about what they told me it needed to be. It seems a little looser than it was. This is the tool that they provided with the chainsaw. And this side is to loosen this to take this off, so if you needed to change the chain out. But in here is the set screw that tightens this. So I'm gonna see if this will turn at all and if it makes a difference. And really, that's about as tight as it's going by hand here. And it's still got that same amount, maybe a little bit less, but pretty close to the same. So I'm just gonna run with this. I think it's good. And hopefully no chain will be flying off. Okay, let's do a few more cuts, shall we? Wow, I'll tell you what, in just a little bit of time, you could do some damage with this thing. It's powerful, and it does the job. I'm gonna have fun with it. Ain't that right, Bob? we're gonna get the DR out. We're gonna cut some brush. Hey, if you're wondering why do I have these concrete blocks here, when they install, I don't have the concrete floor in yet, as you can see. And when they installed the garage doors, they wanted me to set these blocks at the exact height that the concrete floor would come to so that they could adjust it properly. So that's why. Okay, let's get this DR. I might need the key for it. I'll tell you what, just keeping up with these keys to all this stuff that I've got now, that's a chore in and of itself. I'll tell you what, come on in here. I want to show you how this thing starts up, okay? Let's go. So I left just enough room to get this thing out between the tractor and my door area. So here's what the control panel looks like. This is, of course, the gauge, the engagement for the blade. This is where your key goes. The light, I don't think it's got a light. I think you can add a light, but I did add this meter that tells how many hours are on it. I've actually had this thing running for 1.3 hours so far. So as you can tell, it's pretty darn new. This is the throttle. To start it cold, the choke is up there in that position. You move it over and push it up. But normally I've not needed that. Here are your gears. You have reverse, neutral, and it's a little bit off from the letters. First, second, third. It's got to be in neutral to start it. So let's give it a go. Let's just put this up, not choke it, see what happens. Let's go out here and leave you right there, and I'll bring this puppy out, okay? Now, I've never done this before, but I just put it in neutral, and when I put it in neutral, it allowed me to let go of this handle. This handle here is the automatic kill switch. If you let go of that when it's in gear, it kills it immediately. This handle is your traction. When it's in gear, you mash this handle down and it goes. These are your brakes on each handlebar. What the brakes does is it's basically their power steering. So whether you're going forward or you're going in reverse, let's say you're going forward, you can mash your left, squeeze your left handle, brake handle, and it will make that left wheel lock, or at least slow down, which will immediately turn the machine. If you're in second or third gear and you do this, you better hold on tight, because it will take you and swing you around. So it's a powerful machine, and you're about to see it in action. We're going to do a lot more videos on this, because we're going to be making all kinds of trails and recreational areas down near the creek. But check this out, it's cool. Before I get going here, I got a hat up. The ticks here this time of year are bad. A little spray. Woo! And protective eyewear. pretty powerful to just walk gently through these woods and cut that all out. I did this yesterday in just a moment. Back there I put a big trail and I went up and then I came back down and made it very wide enough to put the side-by-side through. I'm gonna pick and choose where I want to put these because I want to keep some growth, you know, just to give the critters a place to go. Let you see some of this other cutting in action. Put down that tree. Let's see it in a minute. What's up, Bob? What's up, buddy? Interesting, off subject, but I smell either Bob has taken a good dump or some big nasty animal out here has, because I smell a distinct odor that is absolutely number 2. That is weird. I don't think Bob did it, but this thing could have scared the shit out of him. Bleep. This could have scared the crap out of him. Not sure. We're gonna go over here now and join a trail that I was working on. I'm gonna try to cut through here, I think. Yeah, let's give it a go. Guys, I gotta tell you, this thing is a beast, and I think you just witnessed it. Oh, is this camera on? Yeah, it's on. Just about out of battery. So this video will be coming to an end shortly, or it can be combined. If you see that there's more video on there, it's simply because I added it to some more cutting video. So, or I edited this out and you never heard me at all. So Bob, what do you think about that? Did it scare the crap out of you? You seem to be pretty acclimated to this stuff. Again, this is not my dog, but he thinks he belongs to anybody that comes up here, and he is a good dog. He's a good dog. Anyway, check it out. This cuts. I'm gonna go ahead and show you the trail I did yesterday down here. This was an old, it was all overgrown, just like everything you've been seeing. But at some point, someone had been driving back here, and it has, of course, been long enough ago that those bigger trees have grown in the route. Now, this is the size of a tree that I will not cut down with that thing. Basically, excuse me, somebody told me this. If you can go up to it, raise it up, and it just pushes that tree down, it's safe to cut. Now, obviously, this is not professional advice. This is just what somebody told me. Don't follow my guidance. But I've been doing that, and it's been cutting fantastic. This one, obviously, was very stiff on the bottom. It didn't want to push it down. Even though it's like 3 inches, it probably could have cut it, but if it doesn't push it over, the blade can't get to it, so I went around it. But check all this out. I mean, guys, this looked like, it looked like all of that, or worse. It looked like all of this. And now I'm able to go through here. I think that's about where I stopped. No, I went a little further. I just didn't get it wide here yet. I'm gonna come in here with the chainsaw. I didn't have the new chain on yet yesterday, but I've got it on now. This goes downhill. So I'm gonna take this trail, I'm gonna wrap it all the way around on the high ground. And I'm gonna come in down on the low ground, go all the way in and back around to the creek and all the way up and down the creek. We got a lot of work to do, but we got a lot of fun coming. Hickory nuts, they're all over this place. I've been told through videos that that is one of the best tasting nuts that there is. Of course, you gotta bust that open and dig it out, and that's the hard part. People don't have the patience, and I am not someone who can claim that I have much patience. All right, so I promised you, after showing you the grater blade that I purchased yesterday, I told you that I did some ditch work. I'm gonna go ahead and just show you that real quick. I promised you that I would. I've got a lot more to do, so you're gonna get to see that thing in action. I've got a lot more to do, but here's a little bit of it. I'm just gonna walk down and let you see. See, the water drains off the field over this way, and it comes down, and the idea is for it to hit this trench and travel all the way down this hill. Here's the driveway. It's obviously overgrown. Again, I just put 2 and 3 inch stone in here because when we took the dozer and we built this driveway, it was in the middle of winter. The ground was real soft, and so all that has packed in there. But I know I probably wasted a lot of money, all that rock getting down in there in that mud, but it'll create a nice firm base. So here's the trench. Now, getting that stuff pulled out of there is the tough part, and getting it to go exactly where you want it to go. But and plus, when it does rain, this is all probably going to wash down unless I can get it seeded and strawed. Now, when I got to about right here, I really couldn't do a whole lot more with all these rocks in here now. But when we get down there, my problem was down at the bottom of that hill where there's a culvert. All that rain was washing all that dirt down over the driveway. But I'll show you what I did. This is a mess, so I got to get this cleaned out, all this rock out of here. You can see where I piled some up yesterday, just trying to get through here with the blade a little bit. I gave up on this area You get that tractor over on the side, it starts leaning. It's big and heavy. You know, being new to tractors, I'm not real comfortable leaning over. You got to put the front wheel and the rear wheel almost in this ditch, which really slopes you over big time as that blade's coming down. But here's where I picked back up, because all that water is to come down and to get into that culvert and go out that side over there. And all the runoff from here and down starts right here. But here was my big problem area. And I have a spring, a wet spring, that at the bottom of this hill down here, right above the driveway, after a good rain for a solid week, and you can see here, this did a really good job. Again, I'll show you more. I wasn't able to drive too far up this way because it's so steep here with the tractor, but about right in here, well, you can see where I started pulling the dirt over that way. All I could do here was drive with my tire on there, hoping that I could pack it down a little bit. But right up here, right there, this, all that dirt was washing over. This didn't exist, this trench here. It was flat and coming across and going over onto the driveway. And if I don't get some seed and some grass growing right up through here, that's going to happen again as soon as we have a good rain. But right now it looks really good. There's obviously a few high spots that I need to get out, and it goes in this culvert. Now the problem is here, this dirt's lower, this ditch is lower than that culvert, so there's going to be water standing in here, but probably not for long, because the dirt's going to wash down in there, raise it up, and it can go out there and come out the other side. But you can see all the way up the driveway where I had to do this yesterday. I probably was out here 4.5 hours or so, but as it gets on up through there, it looks a little bit better. It was kind of easy, straight shot, and that curve doesn't look too bad there. But for my first time ever using a grader blade, I think I did a pretty good job. Again, I've just watched a few videos, and honestly, I've not seen any videos that showed this type of grading done. But I'm sure they're out there, I just haven't seen them. But I'm going to get you some more of this, because again, I've got more driveway up that way, and I'm going to have to clean this up a lot more, I'm sure. That was just the first go. Well, everybody, I appreciate you spending some time with me. If you want to, subscribe to the channel. My understanding is that'll let you see all the other videos. I don't know what you got to do, but hit the bell, whatever they say. Maybe you'll be notified when I throw on some new videos. It's going to be some good stuff, and it's going to be a lot of content. It's going to be limitless, and you're going to see some beautiful stuff, and you're going to see a lovely place. So I look forward to seeing you again soon.